Alright guys, this is going to be the second video I'm making. Alright, this video is going to have more or less um, information that you can use. This is going to be more about the trade. So now that you watched the group and you saw how all that works, you'll be able to correlate that to this screen. So once all that is done, you're going to download Thinkorswim. Okay, TD Ameritrade first. You'll go online and you'll sign up for TD Ameritrade. Once you sign up for TD Ameritrade, then you can call the number that I sent you guys. All you guys should have that number um, through the group. If not, you can message me. You can call them and let them know that, hey, I got a TD Ameritrade account set up. And make sure you let them know that you want a cash account and margins off. Okay. And from there, they'll go ahead and help you download Thinkorswim, which having Thinkorswim is going to be the sister, basically, of TD Ameritrade. So it's owned by TD Ameritrade, but Thinkorswim is the platform you want to use because it's just easier. Okay, so this is the desktop version. It's pretty similar to the app, but the app is going to be a little bit different. I would say easier. Okay, so with it being easier, this here shouldn't be that bad for you. So let's look here. On the left side, we got option buying power. This is all we're going to really worry about because already trading is options. That's it. So this liquidity is basically how much you have in your account. Um, and your option buying power is how much you have to buy for options. So this number should always pretty much be the same as your liquidity most of the time. But obviously, as you use it for the day, it's going to go down. So there's things that we can go through and make sure we understand everything. So here in the group, we trade options. Okay, one contract is considered 100 shares. So if you see me buy 5 contracts or 6 contracts of any stock, it's going to be that's 500, 600 shares of each one. Not of each one, but 5 or 6 contracts that'll equal out to 600 shares total. So we all know that 100 shares is one contract, okay, when we're talking about options. And that's all we do is trade options in the group. Okay, so we went through the tab about long day trades and alerts and all that. So margins off, cash account. And the reason why we want to have a cash account and margins off is because it's only going to allow you to use the money that you have in your account. You have $1,000 in your account today. You use $1,000 to trade with. Tomorrow, that money will go back into your account. Okay, not the same day. That's what margins being off will do for you. Margins off will basically tell the system, no matter how much money you make today off the $1,000, do not give me that money back until tomorrow. So tomorrow, if you made, say you made $1,000 a day on top of the 1,000 that you used, so now tomorrow it'll show that you have $2,000. Okay, so $2,000 is in your account now to play with for tomorrow. I do advise most people. Obviously, we're going to start off with paper trading account. If you're new, I recommend paper trading first before you go live. And the way that you do that is as soon as you get signed up with TD Ameritrade, and then you switch over and you got Thinkorswim. Every time you log in, it asks you, "Hey, do you want to, paper trade or you want to live?" And there's going to be a tab. I'm not in it right now because I'm in my paper trade account. But as you sign in, you'll see that there's going to be a paper trade and a live account. So everyone that's new, definitely recommend doing the paper trade account unless you know already what you're doing. If not, definitely do the paper trade account so you can learn. Once you start learning and you get the grasp or you grasp everything as far as the knowing how to trade and how to sell and all that, then you can switch over. But a paper trade account is great because it develops skills. Okay, so and the reason why we talked about margins being off is because the system will not allow you to day trade unlimitedly if you don't have a margin account. So if you have a margin account and it's on, and you're like, hey, look, I want to make my money today plus whatever I make today, I want that money to come right back into my account. They will allow you to do that, but you can only day trade three times every 5 days. So if you trade over three times in 5 days, then you'll get put on a penalty list and you won't be able to day trade again. So the reason why we use cash account and margins off is so we can day trade with the money we have and we'll recoup it tomorrow because that'll allow you to day trade with no penalties if we do it that way. So that's why I recommend everyone to have their account that way. Robinhood is different. Robinhood is similar. Robinhood is similar, but if you again with day trade pattern, they're a margin company, so the only way that you can actually get around day trading with no limit with Robinhood is have 25,000 in your portfolio. If you have 25,000 and you want to put in your portfolio, that's great. You can day trade on both platforms. Same thing goes for Thinkorswim actually. If you have 25K or more, you can day trade with no issues. But a lot of people don't want to do that, and I understand. I wouldn't want to risk that much as at this time. So what you could do is you can just basically grab whatever account you want. You put 2,000 in there. As long as your account is a margin off in the cash account, you can day trade all day. So that's what we want to do. So that's the first step is learning that part. Okay. Now I'll walk you guys through a day trade. Basically, it's going to be a little bit different on your app, but everything is going to be pretty much in the same spot. So we're going to correlate it with the group. So when I come out with an alert, because everybody wants to know that, what is the alert? How do I do those? So I'll walk you through it. It's pretty simple. So let's start off with let's go here with Apple. This one here. This was July the 2nd. So the first thing I post here is going to be the stock. The format is going to be the same for everyone I put out. As you can see here, stock, strike price, and the price it was. Same thing, stock, strike price, the price that I bought it for. So all of this is the same. So once you do this trade a few times, you're going to be like, okay, this all makes sense because everything is the same. You're just plugging and play. That's all the stock trading is plugging the numbers where they need to go. So we know, okay, this is going to be Apple. And even if you don't know that this is Apple, just put in the symbol, AAPL. So we're going to go back to Thinkorswim. AAPL. There you go. So you're going to see that. All right. Boom. It's going to open up. Now this is what on your app is going to be somewhere on the top. And you're going to see options. Okay. Now if you do this one time on your phone, say you go through one trade and you go ahead and always go with the closest date, it's automatically going to keep that date there. So every time you go to that stock or any other stock, it's automatically going to open up the options for the nearest date. Okay. So what I mean by that, because a lot of people don't know what that is, the nearest date. So you got dates here on the left hand side. If you take out a calendar and you look at these dates, you'll realize every single date is basically every Friday. Okay. This one here is this Friday coming up. That's next Friday. That's next Friday. So these are all Fridays. All contracts in on Fridays. So if you wanted to take a chance and say, you know what, I think this is going to go to, next week, I think this number will get to this point by this date, then you go to something like this. But we're not going to do that. When we're doing alerts, I never post the dates. Okay, as you can see right here on the alerts. Let's see if I never post the dates, right? There's no dates there. You're all automatically going to assume that the dates are going to be the closest Friday to the week. Always. I never go above that. I always stay the nearest Friday of the week. Reason why is because it's cheaper to buy 100 shares for a certain price versus buying it for another week. The way the system, thinks about it is if you're saying that this stock is going to go up, that's 370. Now keep in mind, if you guys don't know, this right here is called the strike price. And a lot of people are like, what is the strike price? The strike price is you telling the system that you think that this stock is going to go above 370. Okay, that's all the strike price is. It's basically you're telling the system that this price is going to go above. This stock is going to go above 370 at some point. So if you push the date for another week out, now you're looking at it where you have more time to reach this. So they're going to charge you more. Okay? So an Apple contract, okay? One contract is 100 shares, might be $320, okay? That's 100 shares. But for you to push the date out for another week, it might be, who knows? It might be $500. So that's the difference. Okay. So you guys know. So basically, we're going to move on from there. So always go to the closest date. Always. So that means that we're looking at the 10th because that's the closest Friday. On your app, you're going to have this too. Strike prices. It might be already programmed to like 6 or 8, but open it up to like 12 or 14. That way you can see more strike prices. Sometimes my strike prices might be a little bit out, so you want to make sure you set your strike prices to see more. Okay? Now on the actual app, it's going to be the same way. It's going to be somewhere at the top, and you're going to be looking for strikes. So make sure you change that to 14 or so. Okay? You can even put it at 20. It's up to you, but typically 14 is a good one because I typically stay in those ranges. All right, now this is a whole nother day, so I'm not sure where the strike price would be. Okay, 360 right here. So you got to look at this calls and puts. That's what we're going to talk about. Calls is basically telling the system that we are betting that the market of this price is going to go up. So if the strike price is 360, we're telling the system that the price is going to go 360 and above. Okay? Right side is puts. Okay? Meaning, if we use 360 as a strike price, we're telling the system that we think that this stock is going to go under 360. So now that's a put. So the way that you know that I'm talking about puts or calls or whatever it is I'm mentioning is you go right back to the group and you look at it here. It's going to either have a C or a P here. So be careful when you're doing it. A lot of the times it's calls, but maybe twice a week. See, this one was a put here. So you always got to pay attention because I've had a few people that's put in this and then they end up putting in a P and it's supposed to be a C. So their margins are going to be completely different than mine's, right? So make sure we know that. Okay. So C is what we're going to go with. So we're going with 370C. But let's just pretend that I put 360 here. Okay. Now with it being 360, we'll come here. We'll look at it. So we say 360 is the strike price that I'm giving you. And I gave you 360C. So now you know, okay, JD's mentioning 360.